This is James Rehearse, and in this video I'm going to show you step by step how to pitch an idea in 5 minutes or less. And we'll start it right now. Cue the intro. Hey world, this is James Rehearse, philosopher, investor, and entrepreneur, and I'm going to show you how to pitch an idea effectively. Just to be clear, an idea could be just about anything, whether it's asking for something, selling something, or just persuading someone to a particular point of view. So what makes this training different from anything else that's out there? For starters, most conventional pitches are boring. And chances are your audience has heard what you're going to tell them in one way or another many times over. For example, an HR manager might ask you, why should we hire you? Or an investor might ask you, why should we invest in your business? And while each response may have subtle differences, the pattern is almost instantly recognizable. As a result, the person that you're trying to sell in your idea, whether it's an executive, customer, or colleague, will become numb, cynical, or disinterested. If you truly want to influence other people, then you need to first change how you see yourself. You're not just a candidate, an investment seeker, or vendor. You're a storyteller, and your job is to tell a story. Why tell a story? Well, it's a fact that stories have remained a powerful tool for exerting influence across all cultures and times. As the saying goes, facts tell and stories tell. As a storyteller, you can create a desire for change in your audience. Once they want to change, you can show them how to make that change happen. By using the most powerful principles of storytelling, we're going to pitch our idea in a way that's factual yet dynamic. This training will be divided into 2 parts. In the first part, I'm going to give you the nuts and bolts on how to pitch an idea. In part 2 of this training, we will be refining and rehearsing the pitch we created in the first part so that it flows naturally. If you watch this video all the way to the end, I have a special thank you gift that I'm going to give you, so don't go anywhere. And with that being said, let's begin with part 1, how to create a pitch. Step 1, define what, who, and how. No matter what your idea is, you need to be crystal clear on who you're talking to, what you want from them, and how you're going to deliver your pitch. For example, if you're a job seeker, your what is a job, your who could be the CEO of an XYZ company, and your how would be through an interview. Another example is that you could be a founder of a startup company. Your what is funding for your company, your who is potential investor, and your how is that you're going to pitch them in a face-to-face meeting. There are endless possibilities, but these 2 should give you an idea on how to define your who, what, and how. Step 2, define what is. This is how you want to open your pitch. Your goal here is to provide an accurate description of your audience's world and subtly embed a problem that you'll provide the solution for later. By opening your pitch in this way, you create a common bond between you and your audience and will give you the opportunity in the next step to create a stark difference between what is and what could be. When possible, you should also acknowledge your audience's intelligence and experience. Here's an example of how you would define what is if you're a job seeker. With the economy the way it is, I'm sure you must be flooded with applicants, and finding the best person for your company must take a considerable amount of patience. Trying to separate applicants from one another must be extremely difficult, especially when I would guess many of us answer your questions in very similar ways. Here's another example of defining what is as a startup founder. The chances of you funding my business are slim to none. You probably hear hundreds of pitches every year and fund only a handful. Some of those investments make you money and others lose you money. Your skill is obviously being able to select more of the former than the latter. You listen to all sorts of pitches, from the innovative to the delusional, and often have to hear the same ideas again and again. In total, this section should use about 20 seconds of your pitch. Step 3, define what could be. After establishing your audience's current reality in the previous step, it's time to paint a positive picture of what could be. It's important that you make the gap between what is and what could be as clear as possible. You want to provoke their desire for a different reality than they're currently experiencing. This will help you with keeping their attention as you explain later on how you're going to resolve the gap. Here's an example of defining what could be if you're a job seeker. In the next 5 minutes, I want to prove to you that I am the perfect fit for this job. I want to show you that I can stand out from all the other applicants and hit the ground running with this role. Here's an example of defining what could be if you're a startup founder. This pitch is different. There's no question that this business will make you money. In fact, by the end of my pitch, you will agree that we're at least 5 years ahead of our competitors in terms of technology. You'll see that we're a business very different than any other, and that we can use your investment to supercharge our growth and change an entire industry. In total, this section should use about 20 seconds of your pitch. Step 4, explain your big reasons. Very simply, you're going to explain to your audience in 1 or 2 sentences your reasoning for why the gap should be closed. In order to make this work, you need to define what's at stake. The reasoning behind this is that it will make your audience care enough to agree with your message. It will also sow the seeds for your audience to take an active part in closing the gap themselves. If they accept your reason, you want to raise the expectation of pleasure and lower the expectation of pain. Also use you whenever possible so you're addressing your audience directly. Here's an example of explaining your big reason if you're a job seeker. If at the end of this conversation you choose to hire me, I won't forget it. I will work for you with a dedication and loyalty that guarantees you will never regret not interviewing more people. Here's an example of explaining your big reason if you're a startup founder. If you invest in this business, you will make money, and lots of it, and help change the way the industry operates. In total, this section should take about 10 seconds of your pitch. Step 5. Acknowledge the change. In order for your audience to agree with your idea, it is very likely that they'll have to move away from a previously held idea. Because of that, it is very important that you acknowledge the change you require of them. Even asking for it at time can be changed. They might already have a preset idea of how long they're going to spend with you. If you go past that limit, now will be a good time to acknowledge it. Here's an example of acknowledging the change if you're a job seeker. I realize it's unusual for an applicant to be so upfront, but if you can indulge me, I'm certain I will prove to you that I'm the best candidate for this job. In total, this section should take about 10 seconds of your pitch. Step 6. Acknowledge the sacrifice. Asking anyone to change how they currently think and agree with your idea is going to involve a sacrifice on their part. In this part of your pitch, acknowledge and be appreciative of any sacrifice you're asking your audience to make. Have respect for their time and money. Even if it's a small amount, it's still a sacrifice they are making for you. Later on, you're going to ask specifically for what you want. So use this time as an opportunity to foreshadow it in general terms. Here's an example of acknowledging the sacrifice if you're a job seeker. I know how valuable your time is. I appreciate the opportunity to ask you for this job and have no intention of wasting it. Here's an example of acknowledging the sacrifice if you're a startup founder. I'm going to ask you for an investment, and I want to say at the outset that I appreciate your time and that asking someone to part with their hard-earned money is a big deal. In total, this section should take about 10 seconds of your pitch. Step 7. Spell out the benefits. This is the final step before we dive into the how of your idea. If your audience agrees with your big reason from step 4, and you've already acknowledged the change and sacrifice that's required, then it's time to spell out the benefits of your idea. You need to provide 2 benefits, a logical one and an emotional one. The logical benefit should suggest that there's evidence that supports your idea. The emotional benefit should appeal to your audience's feelings of pain or pleasure. You should also think about the personal benefits you're providing with your idea. Is there anything in it for them materially, emotionally? How will this boost their social influence? By balancing the logical and emotional, your audience will feel connected to and respect your idea. Here's an example of spelling out the benefits if you're a job seeker. I have an impeccable work history that is compatible with this role, which I know I can excel in, and believe strongly in personal loyalty. Here's an example of spelling out the benefits if you're a startup founder. Our financial projections are CPA vetted. You will make money, and we know what a privilege it is to be invested in and would never let investors down. In total, this section should take about 10 seconds of your pitch. Step 8. Choose and define 3 hows. It's time to reveal the 3 hows that support your big reason back in step 4. In order for this to be effective, your 3 hows must be separate and non-overlapping. Start by brainstorming several different hows and narrow it down to your 3 best ones. After you have your 3 hows, take each one and craft it into a story-like idea. Remember, we're storytellers, not presenters. With each how that you're presenting, you want to provide your audience with guidance, confidence, and benefits. You want to provide guidance by giving your audience the necessary insights and knowledge to understand your idea. You build up their confidence by increasing their belief that this connects directly to your big reason. Lastly, the benefits explain what your audience will gain from this specific how. Here's a hypothetical example of everything we've discussed so far. Imagine that you're a job seeker, and we're going to use the same big reason that we used in step 4, which was, if at the end of this conversation you choose to hire me, I won't forget it. I will work for you with a dedication and loyalty that guarantees you will never regret now interviewing more people. Here are 3 hows which will make good on that big reason. Employment history, education, and personality. If we were to define employment history, you can talk about how your employment makes you the perfect role and makes them a perfect fit for the role. You can go into detail about specific tasks that you've successfully completed, specifics of your success to instill confidence, and how that experience will greatly benefit the interviewer and the interviewer's company. In total, this section should take about 3 minutes of your pitch, or a minute for each how. Step 9. Preempt resistance. No matter how good you think your pitch is, your audience will try to find errors in it. Take a step back and consider all the ways that your audience might try to resist what you're saying. After you've identified them, openly state the objection before they even set in your audience's mind. This shows your audience that you've thought through everything. Acknowledge the objection and show them that they are in good hands with you. Here's an example of preempting resistance if you're a job seeker. I understand that hiring anyone for any position is taking a chance on that person. I want you to know that I appreciate that, and would take this role on completely respecting the chance you will have taken on me. I know I can perform excellently for you and your company. You will not find anyone who's willing to work harder for you than I am. Here's an example of preemptive resistance if you're a startup founder. Investing in any startup is risky. I understand that. I want to assure you that if you choose to invest in my business, I will never let you down. I will never lose sight of the confidence you have shown in me and my idea. You may be concerned that my financials are optimistic. They are not. They are supremely conservative and CPA verified. You have my full commitment to making this business a total success. In total, this section should take about 20 seconds of your pitch. Step 10, end your pitch. The end of your pitch has two very specific goals. First, you want to have a specific call to action that you want your audience to perform. Second, you want to describe what you believe their reality will look like if they adopt your idea and take up the call to action. Make it clear that their rewards will be worth any effort or resources that's required of them. Here's an example of ending your pitch if you're a job seeker. It would be a privilege if you were to offer me this position. I am seeking $55,000 a year and I am available immediately. I will work hard, loyally, and be completely committed to proving to you that you made the right decision. Nothing will stop me from doing everything I can to help your company reach its goals. It would never be a decision you regret. Here's an example of ending your pitch if you're a startup founder. It would be my honor if you chose to invest $100,000 for 20% equity in my business. We could change an industry together and build a business that is truly revolutionary. And in the process, make a lot of money for each other. And you would exit in year 3 with a return of $4 million, and I commit myself to making it happen for you. It will never be a decision that you regret. At this point, we finished writing the first draft of your pitch, and the bulk of the work is behind us. However, we still got work to do, which brings us to part 2 of how to pitch an idea, finalizing your pitch. Step number 1, proof your pitch. Consolidate all of your answers into a short paragraph. Since we've been doing this in steps, your pitch is going to sound disjointed initially. Spend some time rewriting your pitch so that it flows naturally. Analyze your pitch sentence by sentence. Make sure you're focusing on spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Go over your pitch as many times as necessary. Step number 2, playback and edit your pitch. Record yourself reading your pitch and listen to how it sounds. Go back to part 1 of this training and make sure that you address each step fully. Pay attention to how you're reading the script as well, and make sure that your words are clearly spoken and easily understood. Step number 3, rehearse and remember your pitch. If you're going to deliver your pitch, you most likely won't be able to read from a script. And in all honesty, you probably shouldn't. There's no one-size-fits-all method when it comes to memorizing anything. When I need to memorize something, it helps me to write it over and over again. You can also listen to your recorded speech on repeat to help with reinforcing it in your head. After you listen to it a couple of times, try reciting your pitch with the recording to see if you can keep up. After it's all said and done, you'll have a 5-minute pitch for your idea that's factual yet dynamic. Whenever you need to pitch an idea, just come back to this video and follow the process step by step. As a special thank you for watching this all the way to the end, I'm going to give you a worksheet that walks you step by step on how to create your pitch. To get access to it, either click on the link below in the description or go to www.jamesrittenhouse.com/pitch-n-idea-worksheet. Put in your email and you'll get instant access to this worksheet. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified as soon as the next video drops. If you're watching this on Facebook, please like and share this video so other people can get value from this as well. This is James Rittenhouse signing off. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Peace.